Well, I haven't done a recording in a while. I think it's been about 6 months. There really hasn't been much to say. I did finally try the midodrine cream. I mentioned that in a few of my other videos. I was nervous about rebound effects. The midodrine cream, it was interesting. I put it on my face. I used it on my whole face for about a week or two. I can't remember. At first I was kind of hopeful because I had started to have a flare on my face, and I put it on and it seemed to calm it down pretty quick. And so for about a week I used it 3 times a day. But after about a week or so, the flares started breaking through, and then when they did, they seemed a little bit more intense, more edema than normal. So I decided to stop, and then I had rebound. So it was not worth it to me. It might help some other people with EM, but anything that could make what I have worse is just not worth it to me. So I'm sitting outside on my porch for a minute. This is some of the few times, of the day that I can sit here. It's cool enough. I'm in the shade. It's nice just to see the outside world. I'm gonna miss it. Spring's here. It's getting warmer. Summer's coming. It's not something I'm looking forward to. So I can come out in the morning or at night for a little bit, and then when summer hits, I won't even be able to do that. In 2.5 years of dealing with anhidrosis and erythromelalgia and these other conditions that I've been diagnosed with, like dysautonomia, and of course I already had fibromyalgia and inflammatory arthritis and a whole slew of other fun stuff. But the main things: anhidrosis and erythromelalgia, the burning of my face, my hands, my feet, the pain. Nothing's really changed. September, November, I guess October was in there somewhere, of 2021, when I started gabapentin and metoprolol. That's really the only thing I think that did anything. It kind of took the edge off some of the burns, not all of them. It doesn't stop the flaring from coming. Controlling my triggers, of not getting hot in any way, which a lot of people don't seem to understand, that not getting hot doesn't just mean keeping your house cool and staying out of, the outdoor temperatures. It's exertion, which can be anything. For somebody in my situation, that could be 15 minutes of folding laundry, or washing the dishes, or bending down, too long, or getting stressed, and having an internal warming, drinking something warm, eating something warm, your body's own digestion, laughing too hard, crying, sitting in an area where there's not good circulation, having somebody sit too close to you and feeling their body heat, having someone use the stove or the oven in your house while you're downstairs. It's just the slightest change, going outside where it's cool and then coming in where it's a degree or two warmer, or vice versa. It's the most subtle changes that can kick those flares, and then sometimes they just come, and I don't know why. I don't know all the internal workings of my body. Closer to your menstrual cycle, ovulation, I mean, it's just a limitless number of things that your body does, that can affect it or change things. I started working from home again in the early part of 2022, I work at a call center type environment, but from home remotely. So my job description, according to disability services with work, is I sit, I talk, and I type. But for any of you who work in sales or in a call center environment, you know that sit, talk, type does not encompass what you do for a living. You work with multiple systems on your computer. You are constantly maneuvering from one thing to the next. You're multitasking. You're a counselor to your clients who have problems that they're complaining about. You are trying to be excited and inspiring about products and trying to sell things, and you have a time limit, to do that. Not, sometimes that's a time limit set by your employer. Sometimes that's the customer, who I only have 5 minutes, and so you have to do these things as quick as you can. Some people are very irate, some people aren't, but, you're dealing with those things all day long. And it's pretty easy to get warmed up during those calls. And then you're flaring and you feel like, your hands are swollen hot water balloons that can barely move, or your face is on fire and, you're trying to talk to somebody while you're in excruciating pain. And it's stressful and fearful and painful. And a lot of times I just had to push through those situations, and sometimes I couldn't. I had to, tell my boss, like, I need to leave. I need to, swap hours. I'll work later on a different day if I can leave early today because of this. And then when I work extra on that other day, that's more taxing on my system. By the time I get off, there's nothing left of me. All I can do is lay in a chair and just rest and try to be cool. Like that's it. That's all I got. And on days when it's worse, I can't. I just can't. I can't push through it. I can't keep going. I can't make myself endure suffering. I'm already doing it without work on a consistent basis. But doing it with work is even harder. It's like, with chronic pain and these conditions, whatever little peacetime or, downtime you have during your day where you feel okay, you want to use that to just feel okay for a little bit. And it's like adding anything to it, you don't get those times. There's just not a time. You just don't feel okay ever. And it's too hard. And the problem is not enough people understand this condition. They think, oh, you're a little flushed, why can't you keep working? What's the big deal? So you can't sweat, just stay cool. That should be enough. You've got an air conditioner, but it's not enough. I wouldn't be a patient at the Mayo Clinic. They wouldn't even accept me if I didn't have a rare condition. And for them, we've done so many things. We're considered in uncharted territory, and all the things we try are experimental because there's no treatment for anhidrosis. There's no cure, and they're just treating symptoms of erythromelalgia, hoping that it might help. But so far, it really hasn't. And I'm just existing, day to day, trying to deal with this. It's overwhelming. And it limits me being able to go past it and do anything else. It's hard. It's really hard. But, in early February, I got COVID, and then I got COVID bronchitis, and then, like, the day I finally started feeling a little better. I had a wisdom tooth that I've been holding on to for a couple decades. It got infected, and then I had to have that removed, and then the healing time for that, and then I immediately got an abscess in my armpit. It was just like back to back, like things happening, and the stress from having COVID, I will tell you, was just real. Like I take Ativan because of my anxiety and panic over my medical conditions, over feeling this, and it's helped a lot in the last 2.5 years to keep me, calm enough to not be overwhelmed by my symptoms. But after I got COVID, it just kind of, my brain, I think, just realized, guess what? You can still panic, and I've had a lot of anxiety and panic this last couple months, you know, over this. And in addition to that, it's like all of my conditions have ramped up. My flares have ramped up. I have about 15 minutes of activity time before I'm flaring. Same thing for like my fibromyalgia or central sensitization, and inflammatory arthritis or seronegative rheumatoid arthritis. All those things are ramped up right now to the point that sometimes, chewing is too much effort. My face just starts to ache and hurt from the effort of chewing, and I just can't. I just have to stop eating. Or holding my spoon or my fork, to eat, my hand is aching so bad that I can't. Or like holding a pen or pencil for too long, I just can't. I can't hold it. I can't get on my knees to do anything. Bending over is a nightmare anyway, because it's almost an instant flare. The blood rushes towards your face, and bam, I'm on fire. That includes like unloading the dishwasher, putting dishes away, folding laundry, vacuuming, mopping, sweeping. Any of those are like a nightmare. I have, like I said, I've got about 15 minutes, and then it starts. If I try to push through another 15 and I make it to 30 minutes, I'm like a 100-year-old person, barely able to walk. Every part of my body hurts. I'm flaring, and I can't do anything except lay in my chair and rest, and pretty much like watch Netflix or Hulu or something to distract myself from all of the worries that I have, from how I'm feeling physically, from how I'm feeling mentally, from the fact that my bills are piling up and there's nothing that I can do to help, my family, and because I'm not working. The stress that it puts on my husband and my kids, and the isolation of just being stuck here, and it's just so much, and then I'm fighting with my short-term disability claim people to prove that I'm not well enough. And they get my doctor's reports and they send it to their physician advisors, who have probably never heard of my conditions and have to look it up, and then they're like, well, how does that affect sit, type, talk? Really don't see where it does. Doesn't matter that my doctor lists that I have 10 out of 10 pain, and he wants me to just absolutely rest, and that's it, no working. It doesn't matter. The concept of 10 out of 10 pain should help someone understand that that is the worst pain you can feel. I experience 10 out of 10 pain on a daily basis, where most people would be in the hospital begging for drugs, begging for help. I just get to live like this. I just get to accept it. Yeah, just accept it. You know, just keep trying more drugs that we don't know if they're going to help you or not, but we won't know unless we try. Forget that 3 pages of side effects that might come along with it. Oh, hey, this one could cause hot flashes and excessive sweating as a side effect, but you won't know till you try. Well, guess what? Hot flashes? What? You know? You think I need a hot flash? I'm a walking hot flash, you know? I mean, how is my body supposed to tolerate that? And excessive sweating, well, guess what? I can't sweat. So if I get a hot flash that's supposed to cause excessive sweating and I can't sweat, what the heck is going to happen to me? But, you know, there's always the chance I won't have that side effect, and maybe the medicine could help. But is it worth it? Because there's no scientific evidence that that says this will help you. It's just that it might. And I've taken so many that might help me that haven't. That it's hard to put myself out there and be like, okay, I'll try this. Sure, it could cause, you know, all nausea, dizziness, you know, blunted emotions, you know, excessive sweating, hot flashes, bleeding. There's a whole hallucinations, behavioral changes, you know, suicidal ideology, blah, 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 blah. You know, it might, you know, you could have they can always take you off it, you know, but then you'll have to taper because it could have really bad withdrawal effects too, you know. That's like, come on, you know. By the way, that one is Cymbalta that they want me to take for neuropathic pain. I think some type of pain. I'm just staring at the pill bottle. I'm just staring at it, going, could it help? Is it worth it? What if it makes it worse? Because, my God, I can't take worse. Is anybody with me on that? Like, and I guess I'm speaking to people who have chronic conditions or what I have or something, but, you know, you get me? Like, at some point, shouldn't it be up to us to say, you don't have any proof that's going to help me and the side effects are too risky, you know, I'm just where I am. But if I don't take the things suggested, then I'm not cooperative. And of course, disability is going to be like, well, she's not taking what her doctors are telling her to. You know, I've taken enough. I take enough. At some point, I should be able to say, yeah, there's no proof this is going to help me, and it could hurt me, so I'm not doing it. This is just where I am right now, which sucks, but, you know. The other one is the HCQ for inflammatory arthritis, but then that too comes with all kinds of risks. One of them being a skin rash, which God knows I don't need. You know, there's a whole list of potential side effects with that, and there's, you know, not necessarily, you know, correlation that it's going to help me in some ways. It might help with some things, but I don't know. And then there's a heart medication that Mayo is wanting me to try because it helps some people with erythromelalgia, but my cardiologist only uses it for his most severe heart rhythm issues, and he's hesitant for me to take it because it also comes with a slew of potential side effects and risks. And it's like, do I want to help reduce the severity and pain of my flares, even though it won't stop them, but risk my heart health? You know, like, what a choice. Is that even a choice? Oh, and then short-term disability. I don't know if I said this or not. They denied me, so I'm having to appeal it because they're, I did say it, I think. Their physician advisor didn't agree with my doctor's information. So now I have to appeal it, which is ridiculous since I had to do this in 2021. For 7 months, I had to fight an appeal for the same conditions. And eventually their denial was overturned and approved. But now they're denying me for the same thing. And it's like, how can you approve me and deny me for the same condition? Like, what is really going on here? You know, I realize it's hard when you have conditions people don't understand. But, you know, I'm supposed to be home resting and recovering a little bit from this ramp up. But it's so hard to rest when you're worried about having no income to help your family. You know, we're at 2-family income, and now we don't have one, and we have bills, and we have expenses, and we have all these things. And I'm a go-getter. You know, before all this happened, I've been working consistently since I was 16 years old. My first job, I was 9. I worked for vouchers in a thrift store, you know, because I wanted to help my family. I worked weekends at restaurants. I babysat. I, you know, did anything I could to help my family, even from a very early age. And then at 16, I was emancipated. I worked sometimes 2 jobs. You know, I was a single parent for a little while, you know, worked my butt off then. And, you know, and then as a married adult, I've gone to school full time while I was working, raising 2 kids, keeping a house, taking care of everything, helping family, being productive, being an active part of my church, going, you know, out to the Y, hiking, camping, fishing, being active, being all those things. Now I can't do any of them. I'm angry. I'm hurt. And I just feel like I've been robbed. Of my ability to be me. And on top of feeling like this and going through this and dealing with this, I have to prove it to some doctors that don't even know what I have and what it is. Okay, well, I'm starting to warm up and feel like crap. Go figure. This is not a pity party. This is just reality. Yes, I'm sure it'll get better. Yes, I'm sure I'll have a better day. Yes, I'll find a way to be me in this. But it's not easy. I don't even know why I made this video. Update. Vent. because I need to talk to somebody, because I'm sitting here by myself with my dogs 24 hours a day. You know, husband gets home, he's exhausted from work, shower, eat, goes to bed. Kids do their things. Me, my dogs, Netflix. I just don't understand why this happened. Nobody else does either. But for those of you who know me, if you end up watching this, which is probably doubtful, if you don't see me at work, which would be online, that's because I'm at home just trying to exist. If you don't see me at church, which you don't, it's because I can't sit there and burn through service. I can't risk the pain and the questions. If you don't see me at the store, because I can't walk through it that long. If you don't see me at family gatherings, which is typical now, it's because your house is too hot. I can't come in. If you don't see me, just know that I'm still here in my house, trying to stay cool, trying to deal with what's going on with my body every day. I've overcome a lot of things in life. I've never felt totally alone because I've always felt like God was with me, even in the scariest, darkest moments. You know, I've been shot at more than once. I've been beaten up in a field and left for dead. There's a list. But I wasn't alone. And I picked myself back up, and I kept going, moving forward. And I am trying hard to do that now. And I know God's with me, because He promised that He would never leave me that nothing could take me out of his hand. So I have that. Anyway, that's all for today. I think 30 minutes of this is more than enough for anybody. So there it is. It's been 6 months. There's my update. I hope everybody else is doing better than me. Good luck. God bless.